Notre Dame has offered a couple of players recently. Mike, let me ask you about these players. First off, a running back, Kyron Jones. Now, he's committed to North Carolina State. The interest in Kyron Jones offers some thoughts on that and what another running back would do to the Notre Dame running back class in the future.
There's so much to unpack with running back recruiting, and
Yeah.
on Monday I did post that gold standard article, and I have all of the latest kind of scoop. So we won't be able to cover all of that on our interview today, Darren. But would urge folks to head to blueandgold.com and check it out. Again, article titled "The Gold Standard." So Notre Dame offered Kyron Jones last Wednesday. Jones committed to North Carolina State just a couple days later, Saturday morning, before the Wolfpack kicked off against several hours before they kicked off against Clemson. So my understanding is unless Jones is still very interested in Notre Dame, which I think he's, I think he turned down Notre Dame, but I still wanted to mention this because it did kind of show a shift of Notre Dame as being very aggressive at running back. They offered this young man. He's committed to North Carolina State, but, we're just kind of looking at these varying factors. Notre Dame also offered another athlete who you asked me about next, Darren, Darren Hillman. He's someone who could potentially play running back. Jeremiah Love, they're still in the mix for. Jade Lamar, a running back from Washington. He's visiting some other schools in the Pac-12 here lately. So I like the offer, even though Notre Dame didn't get Chris Jones. I like the offer because they're being aggressive. If let's just say Notre Dame doesn't feel great about Jeremiah Love and you have Jaden Lamar taking these other visits, go get yourself in the running for a plan B option or a backup, whatever you want to call it. Remember what happened at receiver last year, Darren? Notre Dame needed 3 or 4 bodies and they ended up with 1. Don't allow that to happen again, and they're trying to avoid that.
So let me ask this for the novice recruiting fan. You say they need to be aggressive. Does that mean they were not aggressive early on in the process, or now where they stand, they have to really put the pedal to the metal?
I would say the latter because of the circumstance. Again, I don't want to give away too much from that gold standard article, but Jeremiah Love's recruitment has gone back and forth a little bit between some of his finalists. So again, considering multiple options, you just want to have some cover for yourself, Darren. I mean, that's, I don't know if like hedging your bet is kind of the right word, but it's kind of along those lines of just protecting yourself just in case some things were to happen, as well as Jones being a darn good player.
You mentioned Hillman as another guy that Notre Dame has offered. He's listed as an athlete. Do you see him locking in any particular position at Notre Dame, or is that something the Irish will worry about down the road?
Yeah, it's very much up in the air. I was told that if Notre Dame lands this young man, that Tommy Rees and Al Golden are going to have to sit alone in a room and fight until blood is drawn. I'm joking, but they're going to have to figure that out. So, Darren, recruitment is fascinating. Before we jumped on this interview, I actually got to interview him about the offer. He got his first scholarship offer from Norfolk State during the summer, just a few months ago. Going into your senior year, you get one scholarship offer. And I hope my memory is serving correct me on this. That's not a good sign, right? You're a fringe FCS prospect at that point. And then he goes on a run of picking up like 8 offers in just a couple of days. I also talked to his coach on Monday, and he told me that, look, this young man, all of his tape at the high school level is just quarterback. He started to play a little bit more safety and put out some highlights of him at safety. And then his offer list kind of blew up. Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Notre Dame being a big one. That's just a few of them. So Notre Dame is recruiting him as someone who could play on either side of the ball. Personally, I think it's the best upsides at safety. But whether it's running back, receiver, one Notre Dame source told me that the staff could see him playing wildcat quarterback. Again, you could see him in the secondary. He's listed at 6'1", 190. Who knows? Does he gain 20 pounds and now he's a rover? Like this young man, the the potential is just through the roof, and someone who I'm liking where Notre Dame's at. He's officially visiting for the Stanford game, so I am leaning towards thinking the Irish are going to win this recruitment, Darren.
So the classic raw talent that changes positions, that doesn't have much experience at his new position, but you look at the raw abilities, the athleticism, and all of a sudden you can see schools translating him into being possibly this player down the line once they get their hands on them.
You know who that sounds like? You know who that sounds like, Darren? Joe Alt, a tight end who people said, you know what, I see this, he can block a little bit at the tight end spot. I think he can be an offensive tackle. I'm not going to say Brandon Hillman's going to start games as a true freshman, but just I think the point remains that just don't judge a book by its cover. Notre Dame offered this kid none of the sites had him ranked, not many offers at all at that point. Notre Dame source called him a freak show, which is a good thing. If I called my wife a freak show, that would not be a compliment, but this young man, he's a freakish athlete. I don't see him as a quarterback at the next level, Darren. But I don't know. You pop on his tape, he can chuck it around a little bit.